Hey there. In this video, I'll be reading some thrilling real-life stories from Reddit. Hope you enjoy. I lived in a regular apartment. Nothing strange ever happened, just another night, like any other. Until the intercom rang. I woke up and checked the time, 2:47 a.m. Who the hell was calling this late? I pressed the button and asked, "Hello?" Silence. Then, in a soft voice, a child spoke. "Mister, can you let me in? I'm cold. I don't have kids. None of my neighbors do either." I looked through the peephole. Nothing. "Who are you?" I asked. "Please let me in. I'm cold." The voice was flat, emotionless, like a recording. My heart pounded. "It's cold out here," the voice repeated, a little louder this time. I hung up the intercom and stood still, forcing myself to breathe. Just a prank, I told myself. Then, the intercom rang again. "It's cold." I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I asked my neighbors if they had heard anything. They gave me a strange look. "You got the call too?" Now let's take a look at the second story. This one's definitely an interesting one. Honestly, this happened so long ago that I hardly remember much, but I still remember the key parts. I was around 7 or 8 years old at the time and was a very paranoid kid. The memory is a bit fuzzy, but I'll try to share what I can remember. That night, there was a special church gathering where everyone gathered to watch a Christian movie. We watched it on a huge TV, almost like a theater screen. The building was kind of like a gymnasium, a big open space most of the time. I went mostly to hang out with my friends, Jay and Hope, and of course to watch the movie because at that age, a movie equals fun. Some of you might remember these blue portable beds that look kind of like trampoline fabric, but not the bouncy kind of like army cots. The daycares where I grew up always used them. We all got ready and went to sleep. Because the building was so big and dark, with only the light coming from the hallway entrance, I was a little unnerved, but I felt reassured because there were other people around me. I kept thinking thoughts like, if I don't look behind me, something might be there, or I feel like I'm being watched. You know, normal paranoid thoughts. Eventually I fell asleep, but then I heard a scream. It was a blood-curdling scream, full of pure terror. I woke up to that scream, and it terrified me. My heart was pounding. Did anyone else hear that? I looked around, but everyone was still fast asleep. The scream came from the bright hallway, but there was no one there. I quietly turned to Jay to ask if he heard it, but he was still asleep and told me to go back to sleep. After a while, I eventually drifted off, though I was on edge. I'm 16 now, and I still remember that scream. It's one of those moments that sticks with you. It was probably one of the eeriest experiences of my life, and I'm sure it happened. I'll never forget it. And finally, here's the last story. This one might just leave you questioning everything. I was 18 years old at the time this incident happened to me. I slept in the basement of our house, which we've been told multiple times after we lived there that an elderly lady fell and passed right in front of the basement closet. We never thought much about it since it was what we could afford at the time. Everyone has always felt uneasy going downstairs. Of course, we had a big family and rooms were limited, so I had no choice but to occupy the basement. There has always been a dark brown large stain on the carpet in front of my closet. Obviously looks like it has been cleaned before, but probably not good enough. We've never cared for it, but on the back of my mind, I've always thought maybe it was blood from the old lady everyone keeps talking about. I've always brushed it off because I was excited having my own room for the first time of my life. Fast forward to 1 year later. One night, I got home for work at about 2:30 a.m., showered, and went straight to bed. I was tossing and turning, but couldn't sleep at all, even though I was exhausted from my 10-hour shift. I heard something fall in the closet, which was closed. I have a ton of stuff, so I just assumed my stuff must have fell from the shelf, considering it wasn't that loud. I closed my eyes, hoping I would sleep, but suddenly, I heard my closet door open really slowly. I looked over, and it was indeed open. What? I know I definitely closed it before I laid in bed, I thought to myself. That's when I realized I was in the state of sleep paralysis. I couldn't move at all, except for my eyes. I knew that I definitely didn't fall asleep yet. I kept my eyes on the closet door, as there was some moonlight shining through my window. That's when I noticed a dark, skinny, tall, and long hair figure peeking out my closet, as if it was checking to see if I've noticed it. At this point, I was freaking out. I could hear my heartbeat as loud as a drum. That figure completely came out from the closet and very slowly floating off the ground, coming towards me. I couldn't make out how she looked like, but she was definitely really skinny with long hair. She eventually stopped right next to my bed and hovered over me. Her face was probably an inch away from mine, but I still couldn't see her face. Her whole body looked just like a pitch black shadow. She stared at me for what felt like an eternity, then stood straight up and slowly glided towards the foot of my bed. I slept on a queen size at the time. She slowly got on my bed and slept right next to me. She sat up after laying there for probably 30 seconds. I saw how she actually looked like. She was very pale, almost like a light gray color, and very skinny to the point where I only saw skin and bone. Her hair was indeed every long and straight, but it looked wet. She was in a black but dirty nightgown and never once turned to look at me. She just sat there and looked at the foot of my bed. I never thought this night would end, but being so scared, I must have passed out. I woke up the next morning from the sun shining into my eyes and remembered what happened during the night. I thought to myself, it wasn't real, right? I glanced over at my closet and saw my closet door was really open, which confirmed what had happened last night was real. I ran upstairs to my family and never spoke of it to them. Till this day, I will never sleep with the closet door open, even though I don't live there anymore. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you enjoyed. See you next time.